Hi guys! Let's talk about Island 2, Episode 6. Here we have 3 performances of the same song, an original one, and the producers will choose 6 people to go straight to part 2 of the survival show. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe and don't forget to like. Thanks! This episode starts with some Jeeun and Jonghoon drama, cause Mnet loves it. They are still not talking to each other, even when there's only a close seat for lunch. In last episode Jonghoon tried to greet Jeeun but she didn't respond, and this time she didn't try to talk to her. Meanwhile, Juwon and Soul were sent to ground and are feeling sad. This is the last test for part 1 of Island, and they reveal it's a one-on-one position battle, which means they will form 2 groups of 6, and the position they get will be competing against the same spot on the other team. So for example, the center of Team A will compete against the center of Team B, only one can be chosen by the producers and that person will go right to part 2 of Island. The ones who didn't make it have to wait for the public votes, revealed on next episode. With that, I was sure someone from my picks wouldn't make it because there are only 6 spots through votes and the producers could end up only choosing people that are not my picks. The song for this test is an original one for the show, called IWALY, which means I Will Always Love You. I really enjoyed the song, it would be nice if it was on their debut album too. They reveal that 2 days ago, they gave the girls the mission to write the lyrics of one part of the song, and the best one would be featured as co-writer and the official song would have those lyrics. That was so nice. Fuko won this mission, she is now a lyricist. Ground will also perform the song, but as a full team. Before the girls choose their parts, they reveal a general part 1 ranking. Their ranking was pretty good, I only disagree with some of the positions, but it makes sense in general with the producers' preferences. Jeemin was first, Fuko was second, Jonghoon was third, Mai was fourth, Saebi was fifth, Sarang was sixth, Koko was seventh, Yuju was eighth, Sujung was ninth, Yui was 10th, Jeeun was 11th and LingLing was 12th. The girls will choose their part in the ranking order, so Jeemin goes first. She chose Team A part 4, everyone got surprised because they wanted her to be center, and that had a consequence later. Jonghoon chose Team A part 5, Mai chose Team A part 6, Saebi chose Team A main dancer, Sarang chose Team B part 4, Koko chose Team B main dancer, Yuju chose Team B part 6, Sujung decided to challenge herself and chose Team A main vocal, Yui chose Team B center, Jeeun chose Team A center and LingLing chose Team B part 5. Since Fuko won the lyrics mission, she could choose whatever part she wanted and the person who chose it previously would be placed on the remaining spot. She chose Team A center, letting Jeeun with the main vocal part for Team B. Sujung's reaction was so funny because she would compete as main vocal against Jeeun. With these teams, Sujung is competing against Jeeun, Fuko against Yui, Saebi against Koko, Jeemin against Sarang, Jonghoon against LingLing, and Mai against Yuju. I think it got a little predictable which team would win if they had to decide and which girls they have more chances of choosing. Meanwhile, in the ground they decide the parts normally as the other tests. They choose Juwon as the leader and main dancer, Jiwon is center, Gyuri is main vocal, Yeeun got part 4, Yuna got part 5, Chaeeun got part 6, Minsol got part 7 and Choi Soul got part 8. They were scared of part 8 because it was the highest and the shortest, and Soul was sad because she applied to all the parts and ended up with the last one. Since she was nervous with the high note, she couldn't focus on anything else and the girls got worried about her, so Juwon talked to her and she regained her confidence. They didn't show much about grounds practice time, just some short moments. Back to Island, Team A was doing fine and practicing the dance with details, while Team B wasn't practicing yet. They are worried because Team A got the highest ranking people, so they decide Koko should learn the dance and teach them so they could start practicing, cause she was the best dancer. Meanwhile, for the singing part everybody helped her with pronunciation cause she's not fluent in Korean yet, and she was also worried because Saebi has better facial expressions. Since they were rivals, Saebi was worried too because Koko is a better dancer. The interim check comes and Sujung was worried because she would compete against Jeeun and she was sure she would lose. Team A went first, they made many mistakes, Saebi was the only one who stood out it seems, the rest of them were unstable. For Team B they mostly focused on Koko and Jeeun since they were rivals with Saebi and Sujung, but they seemed more stable than Team A. The producers say that after they get picked here, they will debut right away, and that this was not a stage quality performance. They also think Team B was more stable and criticized the main vocalist Sujung. They hear them again and Sujung got off key, but her voice tone isn't bad, I think her tone is nice, but she needs to work on getting stable. There's no way she can beat Jeeun, but I understand why she chose the main vocal part. She wants to show them that she also knows how to sing because now she seems only like a dancer, so I think she did right on choosing to sing, but she needs to practice a lot harder now. They say now it's the time to ask anything about singing, and she gets unsure if she is the right one to be the main vocal, so she burst into tears thinking if she did a wrong choice. I think they were a bit cold to her. It seems they just told her to stop crying and that's it, nothing else. After the interim check, she went out to cry, and when she came back, Saebi and Mai told her she could share her feelings with them. I think the girls have learned how to have a better group relationship and help each other after part 1, it's a good thing. Later we find out that LingLing went to talk to her and told her to not give up on her part and that she was brave to go against a powerful main vocal, that this embarrassment will be a great foundation for her, so she decides to keep her part. Next, they evaluated the main dancers. Both Koko and Saebi danced well, but they compliment Saebi for her facial expressions and movements being clear, so Koko decides to focus on that. And we get to the day of the performances. Team A will go first, but before that, we see their practice after the interim check. They realized they have different facial expressions and they have to blend their emotions, based on what the lyrics say. They study the lyrics of the song to express its story, and we get to see a little bit of Jeemin versus Sarang worries, because Jeemin thinks Sarang could win, since she also added a little bit of herself to the choreography, making a heart in one part. They flash back ILAND, showing that she didn't debut before, and then show a little interview with Jeemin, asking her about the previous survival show. It feels like they are always reminding her of that. The performance starts. I think Team A performance had less energy than Team B's. The girls were stable, Sujung did her part well, it was actually impressive how she got better. But I was feeling a lack of energy until the bridge came. From there on, they were so good. The vocals were more clear than before, it felt better, I don't know if it's them or the editing. Before the bridge, I feel like only Saebi was standing out, but in general, this performance was made for Saebi and Fuko. My eyes kept following them and it feels like the others weren't shining as much as them, even with all of them being stable. But I'll be honest, when I watched this performance live, I thought this team would win if it wasn't a one-on-one battle and I liked it a lot, but now that I've rewatched more than once, I feel different about the energy. Team B ended up calling my attention more after rewatching it. The producers kept talking about Saebi all the time, I was sure they would choose her because of her expression. When they give them their feedback, they say they did well, they compliment Sujung and tell her to have more confidence, and they say it was unfortunate that Jeemin had the power to be the first to choose her part and she chose such a short part. She thinks she will lose, and by the spoiler they gave us in the first episode, of Jeemin crying with these clothes, I'm sure she will. Now it's time for Team B, and Jeeun is very smart when it comes to competition. She asks what their feedback was, but they don't tell her. Before they perform, they show us their practice again. Koko kept practicing how to act and express herself when dancing, because Saebi is very expressive and she felt like a dancer only. Here the editing spends some time showing Koko's arc on becoming more expressive, with her studying the lyrics of the song to express the message, just like Team A. They start the performance. This team had a more aggressive vibe for the song, they represented it differently from Team A, adding their style to it. Maybe it's because the concept changed, but I think they seemed a lot more energetic, in a good way, because it made us look at all of them, not just one or two. The song felt alive since the beginning. Yui was center, competing against Fuko, and I got surprised by her singing because until now she only showed being powerful on rapping and dancing, but here her voice was stable and I think she was a great center, her dance moves are very strong. Sarang felt more natural than Jeemin, her facial expressions were good. This team had this more aggressive expression for the song, but I think it fits really well with their powerful dancing. Team A was more angelic, and Team B is more of angry. Koko's voice wasn't perfect in my opinion, but she did well, and her dance when she was in the center was great and energetic. She also did very well with facial expressions. I think Jeeun got a lot better on facial expressions here, maybe because the song had her vibe. I feel like she improved in general, she was being more natural here, and her vocals were showcased too. Her dancing wasn't special in her past performances, and in the Signal song she was in the back, so I think here it got to stand out more. LingLing was also great here, her vocals were so nice, I think this team really fits the song more. Yuju had such a short part, it was Mai's part from Team A, them both didn't stand out much because of it, but they did well too. It would be hard to decide the winner based on this performance, I would have to watch their fan cams and analyze the dancing. Koko's expressions since before the bridge until the end were so great. She nailed it, and their ending was also nice. Their bridge was better with Jiyoon's vocals. I think I like this team better than Team A, for sure. But I want to mention Team A did great with the ending break, with the different dance moves, them walking to the side and them dancing on the bench. I think that part of the song was better on Team A, but Koko definitely stood out with her expressions there. I also want to mention I fell in love with Yui once again this day, because I was already amazed by her last dance test in episode 5, and then here she impressed me with her vocals. She became an ace. She is good at everything. I didn't expect it, to be honest, but now I'm so sad cause I was sure the producers wouldn't choose her since she was competing against Fuko, and she was low on votes. Her situation is a bit similar to LingLing. For the feedback, the producers compliment Koko, especially for the second half of the song. They also compliment Jeeun for looking natural, and Sarang for being stable. Since the episode made a dramatic emotional editing for this compliment of hers, I was even more sure she would win against Jeemin, but I think either way she would because Jeemin didn't really stand out this time. Now the producers will choose the 6 girls to go to part 2, and they feel unsure of who to choose. The other girls will wait for votes from the audience, and only 6 can enter. The announcement starts right away. Both contestants will be called to go on stage and then one of them will be the winner. They call number 6 first, which were Mai and Yuju, and the winner was Mai. They complimented Yuju a lot earlier, but they always had a preference for Mai, so it was no surprise. Next, they call part 5, Jungeun and LingLing. I think most of these choices feel obvious. The girls that got the positions against each other by coincidence ended up making it not be that hard to guess the winners. Jungeun was the winner, and I'm thankful because she had chances of not being chosen if it was against someone else. At the same time, I feel sorry for LingLing cause she did well. Now it comes position 4, which is Jeemin and Sarang. Sarang won, and even her was surprised cause the girls always expected Jeemin to be the best, so they thought she would win. The editing shows us flashbacks from her last survival show again, and now she is crying to give her speech, which made Monica make a weird face. It must be a really complicated feeling when she wasn't chosen for the final lineup and now has to wait for votes. Luckily she has the public with her now. Now it's the main dancer position, Koko and Saebi. Saebi won, and I was worried for Koko because she wasn't that popular before this episode, but we will be surprised on next episode. I think even the producers were suffering with this one. They seemed sad for Koko. But 24 said something so weird here. He asked Saebi if she thinks she's the prettiest. Like what? She answered no, and even the other producers were confused. That was so weird. Now the second position, main vocal 1, with Sujung and Jiyoon. This one was the most obvious one, but even so, Sujung improved and the producers talked about it. The winner was Jiyoon. Now the last one, center position, with Fuko and Yui. I mean, Fuko wrote the lyrics for the song, and she was stable and did well. Yui did great. She impressed me more than Fuko because she dances with more power, but it makes sense that Fuko was the winner, and with both being Japanese, the producers would want to keep her safe. They didn't know if people would vote to save Fuko, so they guaranteed her. Yui on the other hand, was at risk of not getting enough votes now. They selected 4 people from Team A and 2 from Team B. Now it seems like the episode is going to end, but we have the ground performance yet. When I was watching it I even forgot them because of this elimination thing, and it was a long episode. Quick recap, Gyuri is main vocal, Juwon main dancer and Jiwon center. I won't talk about all the girls on this performance, but they did well in general. It actually felt like a goodbye, as if all of them would be eliminated right away, since the episode didn't show much of them. They all did well and were stable. Yeeun's voice tone was nice here. Jiwon had a lot of lines in the song. Her, Juwon and Gyuri were the best, and Soul got to do the high note she was worried about. It felt weird to see Juwon in there though. Maybe I got used to seeing her in ILAND and with different clothes. Here everyone is wearing uniforms. Since the producers won't choose anyone, the girls give their final speeches and ask for votes. Yeeun even got emotional when thanking the other girls for their help. And the episode ends like this. Which team did you like the best? Were your favorites chosen by the producers? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bye.